So a brand new build of Battlefield Labs has just dropped. It's just become available for download, and Temporal, the main data miner for Battlefield games as of late, wasted absolutely no time data mining the build, and he's found a lot of interesting stuff that we've got to go over in this video. First of all, the first ever campaign footage. I am going to put a bit of a spoiler warning before I talk about this footage, guys, because I understand some people don't want to be spoiled at all. And we've also got some first screenshots of the Battle Royale. Thought you guys might be interested in this, so we're going to do a video on it. As always, if you guys do enjoy the content here on the channel, make sure you're subscribed. There's plenty more to come on Battlefield here in the future. Oh, by the way, the other day, me and Enders actually did a bit of a collaboration together. We did a podcast that was featured over on his channel. We also live streamed it as well. So first of all, thank you to anybody who came by and watched us talking about all things Battlefield. But if you guys want to check it out, I'll leave a link to that down below. You know, if you want to hear us going over everything from the class system, to mechanics, to vehicles, to the labs leaks, what we expect from the game, all that sort of stuff, we covered it. So if that interests you, it might be worth a watch. Alright guys, let's just get straight into this. Let's start with the good stuff, the campaign leak. So basically, this is a video file that Temporal has found in Battlefield Labs, and it shows one of the early cinematics from the campaign. Now, I'm going to give you guys a spoiler warning here. If you don't want to hear me describe this, then I'll leave timestamps down below where you can skip along to the next subject in the video. If you don't care about spoilers, and they are pretty mild because we don't even have sound in this cinematic, then continue watching. So Temporal posted this over on X, and he says, here's a short clip from the Battlefield 6 single-player campaign in the latest Battlefield Labs update. This work-in-progress footage shows the explosive finale of a mission to destroy a dam in Tajikistan. So this is presumably then up in the Pamir Mountains. And I think this coincidentally is also where we've been seeing the capstone map take place, which of course you'll probably have noticed from the most recent Battlefield Labs leaks. So needless to say, as usual guys, I'm not going to be able to show you the exact cinematic here because EA will just take down my video, but if you go over to my Twitter, and there is a link to that in the description below, go to my top post there, you'll find that I've reposted it, so you can go and check it out for yourselves if you want to sort of watch along and see what I'm talking about. Initial thoughts here, this is looking pretty promising. Now, the cinematic itself is very bare bones, it's very placeholder. They climb into a truck. There are no doors on the truck, so the soldier's doing this opening door animation, and there are no doors there because it's literally that early. There are purple textures on things. You guys get the idea. Take this with a pinch of salt because it may not look this way in the final game. But what we see here is a level which takes place in a large dam, and we've got an American squad here. They're coming out of the dam, rushing towards a truck, and one of the squaddies is opening up the back doors while you, the protagonist, lays down covering fire until everybody can climb on board. Now, as you climb on board, you spot, I want to say 2 F-22s off in the distance. Don't quote me on that, though. Maybe somebody who's watched it has a better eye for jet silhouettes than I do, and they flare off in the distance there, and then they fly in as the truck drives away, releasing 2 missiles which then hit the dam. And as the truck drives away, we get a bunch of, which I can only assume are PAX soldiers who come out of the dam. They start opening fire on the soldiers in the truck, and then due to the 2 missiles that impacted the dam, we get these huge boulders start raining down on these enemy soldiers, rolling over the jeeps that they arrived in, and absolute chaos ensues. Now, there is also no sound for this video file, so that there's no dialogue or anything like that, so we can't really tell anything like character names, nothing of the sort. All this really gives away is that there's going to be a level that takes place on a dam. Now, one takeaway from this is that all of the cosmetics on the soldiers, the way they look, is very authentic. They've all got masks on, they've got helmets on, they've got night vision goggles, they've got full camo, body armor, everything that you would expect military outfit to look like and soldiers to be wearing is in this game. There is not any weird, wacky cosmetic skin stuff in sight. But then again, first of all, this is placeholder, and second of all, it's the campaign, right? So that doesn't really tell us much about DICE's overall direction and what they plan to do with cosmetics in general. Alright, moving on from that, let's take a look at the Battle Royale. So once again, Temporal posts here, and he says 3 new artworks from the Battlefield 6 Battle Royale mode. The updated description teases, after a massive explosion devastates Fort Linden and its nearby beach town, the area is evacuated under threat of toxic fallout. So initially, I thought maybe the toxic fallout could be a factor in the battle royale. Maybe that's what encloses around you as a player. But he's already data mined a lot of mechanics with this game mode, and it sounds like it's actually just going to be a regular ring of fire. So I actually think the toxic fallout is just like part of the lore as to why this particular residential area has been abandoned to begin with. Now, he does say, keep in mind, this is based on the pre-alpha Battlefield Labs client, so we are discussing work-in-progress content as indicated by the PH, which stands for placeholder markings, and each of these images does indeed have this particular marking on them. So once again, if you guys head over to my Twitter account, the images will be available there, and you can see what I'm talking about here. But just to describe them briefly, the first image, and this is really the most impactful one and the most interesting one, it shows a number of soldiers parachuting onto the map, and the map itself has a huge crack running through the middle of it, like a huge earthquake has just taken place there. And, you know, this is a very built-up residential area, so you've got skyscrapers with helipads here, another building that looks like it could be possibly a hospital, and then on the other side, closer to where the beach area is, you've got golf courses. We've also seen golf courses in some of the leaked concept art, swimming pools, that sort of thing. Now, you can see a soldier at the top who is parachuting in full military gear, and then below him are three other soldiers, and you can't really make them out, but what you can see is their parachutes. And what is interesting here is that one of the parachutes is red, another one of them is different shades of blue, and then the third one is stripy yellow and black, kind of like a bumblebee. So this kind of leads me to believe that maybe we're going to be able to customize the look of our parachutes in Battlefield 6, which, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think we've ever been able to do that before. Now, this next image is kind of confusing. We see four soldiers shooting another four soldiers with the four being shot sort of hunkering down or in the middle of getting shot, and then there's a bunch of rubble falling down around them. The weird thing is, though, is that a lot of the soldiers in here are Casper, you know, from Battlefield 2042. You've got Dozer there, you can also see Royale, and so it is indeed very placeholder here. They've just used the Battlefield 2042 models to basically, you know, enact what like this battle royale might look like. Why they've left this kind of thing in the files, knowing that people like Temporal will data mine it, I'm not quite sure. Either they're just not, you know, keeping a tight enough ship in their work, or they maybe just don't care that people are going to data mine them, because they must 100% know that if they leave this kind of stuff in there, somebody like Temporal is going to find it. So in a way, I wouldn't really read too much into that one. It's probably like the most placeholder of the three. And the third concept art image here actually shows a soldier. It looks like he's in a wall, or there's a large hole in the wall at least, and he has discovered a cache of weaponry. He's looking at an ammo belt, and behind him is another soldier with a gas mask on, creeping up with a sledgehammer, and he looks like he's about to bonk him over the head with it. So, kind of interesting stuff there. I'm not really sure we should read too much into the Battle Royale images. I think these are probably very, very early. However, the fact that they've just been found now is kind of interesting. We have more information from the 1BF Telegram account. I believe this is a Russian account, and they also do some data mining. And they said, a new Battlefield Labs patch has been released. The list of changes is not yet known. The update size is about 13 gigabytes. So clearly, they've just updated the game, and it must be that they've added these images to the new game build with this update. Otherwise, Temporal or somebody else would have already found them, and he would have already posted them. So the fact that they're posting this early images, which have clearly placeholder assets in them, such as Specialists from Battlefield 2042, is a bit of a head-scratcher to me. You know, I don't want them to mislead the community, but as always, guys, with any data mines, it's early stuff, it's all placeholder, none of it may come to fruition, so I would take it with a massive grain of salt. Now, interestingly, apart from that, the 1BF Telegram account here also said that the watermark has actually been changed from Labs to Battlefield Labs Alpha. They also say that DICE have added the ability to turn off the border around the capture zone for everybody who wants it, and DLSS, and this is DLSS 4, the newest DLSS, has also been added, which is really, really good to see there. So what he's referring to with the capture zone, for anybody who's seen the leaks, now when you're capping a flag, you see a blue or a red line around the outside of the capture zone. A lot of people found this slightly immersion breaking, and so it sounds like they've added a new option to the game to allow you to disable that. And also, everywhere that it used to say pre-alpha in the build has now been changed to just alpha. So it is still an alpha build, but it's not a pre-alpha anymore. It sounds like they're, moving along with the name designations here, so maybe Labs is coming a little bit further along. It's still clearly got a long way to go, but they've moved up one step. Interestingly, they also say here, just EA, will have some news on the class system for the next battle in the near future. Again, this is like kind of translated from Russian, or they're trying their best to speak in English, so this is kind of confusing because it looks like they're saying this is something that EA said, which clearly they haven't said. This is just the Russian Telegram saying that, but it sounds like they found some sort of a clue that we might be hearing something about the class system. So are they going to be bringing out their second part of the blog post? Have they decided to do 180 on the class system and lock the weapons down? Who knows what this could mean? Honestly, with the class system, and I was talking to Enders about this the other day on the podcast that I mentioned, it feels to me like they're probably not going to go back on the lock weapons. Certain decisions that they've made for Battlefield Labs kind of give me the feeling that they are going in that direction, whether we like it or not. And once we do have a say in the balance and some of the mechanics in the game, it seems more like they want feedback around tweaking the small things. But when it comes to big gameplay decisions, like do you want locked or open weapons for the classes, I think DICE have pretty much just taken a decision there, and they're trying to do their best to help us understand that decision and help us come to terms with why it might be a good thing. Obviously, you guys know my opinion on it. Personally, I'd rather have the weapons locked down, and I've talked about that in many videos, so let's not get deep into that right now. But I'm going to end it here, guys, because I've rambled for long enough, and now I want to hear what you guys have to say about it. So leave me your thoughts below. Personally, I think the campaign footage is looking pretty good. It's pretty much what I expected, to be honest with you. Kind of like a Call of Duty campaign or a Battlefield campaign, epic, cinematic, military themed. I think it's going to be a blast. It's probably not going to be too long, maybe 5 to 10 hours in play length, similar again to past Battlefield or Call of Duty campaigns. So for me, this is like the least important thing in the game. That's not really why I'm playing Battlefield, but it is a nice addition nevertheless, especially when we haven't seen the campaign in the last game. So yeah, leave me your thoughts below, guys. As always, don't forget to subscribe to stay up to date with everything Battlefield. We are almost at 60,000 subscribers, guys. Less than 100 to go, so anybody who helps me get there is an absolute chad. Also, don't forget to leave a follow on the Twitch channel, first link in the description. There's going to be a lot more streams from me in the future, especially when Battlefield 6 releases, both here on YouTube and on Twitch, of course. And go check out that podcast as well. Link is in the description for that too. Alright, that's enough plugging. I know, I had a lot of stuff to say today, my bad. Cheers for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.